Hello, hello. I am so happy to have you here. Today I'm doing a little bit of a different episode on books. Where are my book lovers? So if you're watching this on video, you would actually see that I have a whole bunch of books behind me. What you wouldn't see on video is the bookshelf above like this wall that we have. Our goal is to have an entire wall filled with books someday, but right now it's all up top and our collection keeps growing. My husband and I absolutely love reading books. I have always loved reading. I've always been an avid reader, and especially when it comes to personal development, I actually have to remind myself to read more kind of just like fun, lighthearted books because I'm always reading personal development books. And we usually want one, we order it. I like to have the hard book. I don't know if you're somebody who reads like on a Kindle or on your computer. For me, I'm on a computer so much that I love to have the actual book and hold it in my hands. Definitely doesn't help with decluttering. However, I really wanted to talk about books and mostly personal development books. Of course, if you have any recommendations for amazing, lighthearted books, send them my way. But today I really wanted to talk about just some personal development books that I personally love. And it's hard. It's so hard. I actually picked more than I even expected to, but it's so hard to pick. There are so many more to Above and Beyond that I've read that I love, in addition to the ones that I'm going to share with you today. But I picked out a couple that I really wanted to talk to you about today, and some of the ones that I have read multiple times and why I absolutely love reading. And you might be somebody who likes the book, you like to listen to audio or read it on a computer, but it's just like podcasts where there's just all of this knowledge that this person is sharing with you for practically free, right? However, the cost of the book was. And there's so much that you can gain from reading and just learning and growing and continuing to improve yourself. And so that's been a big part of my journey of things where when I felt like I needed sort of that motivation, a book like that, or when I felt like I needed that tool, like that system or that thing to help me with organization or to help me with habits or to help me with money. There are books out there for that. So if you're somebody who loves books, I hope you love this episode. And honestly, I'm just going to share with you some of the books because I love when people share with me books that I should check out. And you probably have heard some of these. Maybe you haven't heard of some of them, but I love when someone shares a book with me that I can then check out. So today I'm going to talk to you about some of my favorites, which still is quite a few. I did categorize them into groups. So the first sort of category of groups that really stand out to me, what I would say tend to be more around, I would say, like women. But men, you can absolutely read these ones as well, but they just stand out to me as ones that are more targeted specifically at women. And the first one is You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. So I'll admit the first time I saw this is definitely a catchy title. And it's You Are a Badass, How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness and Start Living an Awesome Life. So You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. This is a great book to start with for personal growth. And I love the story that she shares about herself and her experiences. She is witty, she's funny, and really talking about some self-sabotaging beliefs and behaviors that stop you from getting what you want, which obviously fits right into what we talk about in this podcast. So You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero is one that I really like and recommend. And then also one that I've recently reread by Ali Casaza. I'm going to say it wrong. I hope I said it okay. But Declutter Like a Mother. So look it up. The last name is Casazza. Declutter Like a Mother. So my word for this year is simplify. If you don't pick a word for the year, I highly recommend it. And every year I pick a word, and my word for this year was simplify. And part of simplify was all parts of my life. So my systems, my business, my house, my brain, all of it. And as part of the physical simplify, I've read books, Marie Kondo, the Art of Tidying Up. I've read that one before, but this Declutter Like a Mother, I just love it. It specifically talks about moms and how that extra layer of trying to declutter your house, and it actually walks through how you can go through different parts of your house. So really like this one if you're looking to simplify and declutter. So Declutter Like a Mother. Okay, the other one, then again, more geared, I would say, towards women is Untamed by Glennon Doyle. So this one I read this one multiple times, and this one just like, especially for men, I think it just kind of hits you in the gut. honestly. So if you have not read Untamed, I would definitely recommend you check it out. She is so authentic. She is so herself. She shares a lot of her story and a lot of things she's been through. But also, I mean, I'm just looking at this. Like, I don't know if you're someone who does page tabs or turns the page down. I have so many pages to turn down in this book of just like mic drop moments where she talks about finding yourself and finding the voice from yourself and how to use your voice, which obviously is a big thing I talk about with people as well. And so this is just, honestly, women, check this out. I think you're going to find pieces of yourself within this story. So those are the ones I would say more specific towards women. Then I want to talk about the category of money. So this is an area that I talked about a little bit of my story before in other episodes, but money was that word where it was sort of just like this, like fingernails on a chalkboard. It felt like for me when I thought about money and having to get I never felt like I was good with money. I never felt like I understood it. It's part of the story that I'm rewriting for myself. And as a business owner, trying to understand it and own it and all of that and rewrite that belief around it. And so I really started trying to dive into just money and the money stories that we have and all of those things. And so some of the books that I love around this, another Jen Sincero actually, You Are a Badass at Making Money, Master the Mindset of Wealth. Again, what I really love about this is I feel like it is targeted, I think, stereotypically for whatever reason, right? Men either feel more comfortable with money, or we make that story up that they are, and women maybe feel like they don't understand it as much, or they weren't taught it as much, or they can't own it as much, whatever that be. So I love that this perspective of hers, again, from kind of that female perspective, but this is talking about your doubts and fears and excuses, and how can you relate to money and tap into your ability to grow rich. So if you feel like you want to tap into your inner badass when it comes to money, that's a great one. And then two sort of classics that I have already read twice, and I plan to just like keep rereading almost maybe multiple times a year, is the Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. So this one has been around for a really long time, and is one of the ones really that I know a lot of people use as sort of that like it says landmark bestseller, right? And they updated it for the 21st century. So it's been around for a long time, but this is absolutely fantastic when it comes to rewiring your brain when it comes to money. So Think and Grow Rich, highly recommend. And then one more money one that I read is this Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. So by T. Harv Eker, it's Eker. Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. This is also a really, really great one when it comes to money. Okay, we have two categories left. I hope you love this. I would love feedback on this. And if you like episodes like this where I'm sharing books with you. The next category is sort of, I'm going to put into habits or just overall personal development. So the classics start with Why by Simon Sinek. This is huge. We talk about your why when it comes to pretty much everything, your driving force behind what you do in your business, in your career, in your life. If you want to feel aligned to what you are doing and where you're headed, start with Why by Simon Sinek. It's such an amazing book. How great leaders inspire everyone to take action. So it really needs to start with that. So Start with Why is a classic. Another one that I recommend a lot, and I actually have read this twice, and I recommend this to a lot of my clients, is called The One Thing by Gary Keller. So this is the surprising, simple truth behind extraordinary results. What I love about this book is a lot of the clients that I work with are feeling overwhelmed by their to-do list, by all of these different things that they have to do. And all of these, not even just our to-do list, but all of these things that we want to achieve. And we can get overwhelmed, especially if you're someone like me who's multi-passionate. And you're like, I want to do this and I want to do that. We can do all of it. We just can't do it all at the same time. So this one I absolutely love, because The One Thing is about how you can actually focus on one thing, cut through the clutter, achieve better results in less time, dial down the stress, overcome the overwhelmed feeling, revive your energy, and stay on track. Like, who doesn't want that stuff? And so again, I recommend this to a lot of my clients when we talk about how do we focus on, if you are somebody who has all these things you want to do, how do you focus on the one thing to start with to give you that traction? So The One Thing by Gary Keller is a great book for that. And then two books on habits, which I actually have talked about before in an episode. when we talk about, I think it was literally Let's Talk About Habits, but these ones are huge when it comes to your habits. So we've got High Performance Habits by Brendan Burchard. This is a classic. And again, this is another one that I have so many pages turned down, just so many drop the mic moments and practical things. What I love about these is they're almost like guides. They're not just that motivational. They're almost like guides of what you can do. And our habits are at the core. So when you talk about your thoughts and create your feelings, which create your actions, which create your results. I talk about that a lot, sort of that ripple effect that it has. When we're trying to create new things, when we're trying to do something new, it has to come down to our habits and has to be sustainable habits. So if you're trying to achieve something in your career or in your business or in your personal life, and you haven't yet changed the habit, then it's not going to be sustainable for you. So High Performance Habits is a huge one. And then the other one is Atomic Habits by James Clear. And this one is fantastic as well. So this is Tiny Changes, Remarkable Results. I absolutely love this one as well. It's like a guide. And what I really loved about this one, I've talked about this before, but one of the things he talks about in here is if you want to start a new habit, asking yourself, what would somebody who does this thing be doing right now? So the example I use sometimes, and I think he might have used in here, is water. If you wanted to drink more water, you might ask yourself, like, what would somebody who drinks 70 ounces of water be doing right now? It's like, oh, I would take a drink of water. That's how you actually build the muscle of this habit. Instead of just saying, oh, I want to drink 70 ounces, you actually ask yourself that question. What would somebody who does this thing be doing right now? And that's how you create those habits. I have 2 more books that I wanted to share with you. And again, even as I'm talking about this, I'm like, oh, there's even more that I want to talk through, but I think this is more than enough for this episode. 2 other ones that maybe you haven't heard of and are a little bit different. And I haven't read this one in a bit, but I saw it on my shelf and I was like, oh my goodness, it's really short, it's really brief. It's called Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson. This is a really interesting book, and it's an amazing way to deal with change in your work and your life. And it's written, again, this is literally, it's a very small book. It's like 100 pages. If you're watching the video, you can see it's a tiny little book. Who Moved My Cheese? It is so interesting and written in a very different way than any other personal development book. So I'm not gonna share too much, but I want you to check this one out, because this is essentially about change and how we all navigate and deal with change differently, but written from the perspective of mice and cheese. I'm gonna leave you with that. And the last one, I don't know if you've heard of this one. I'll be curious. The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. Charlie, I'm gonna spell it. It's Mackesy. If it's Mackesy, I don't want to butcher his last name, but Mackesy. The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. I think a friend of mine, when I was getting certified as a coach, we were at the in-person training, and she had this book. And I had shared something in that session, and she brought this book over to me, and it's so interesting. It's nothing like a personal development book you've probably ever read before. And he is an artist. He's got these pictures, and it's so fascinating. I don't know that there's even words to describe it. It's so beautiful, and it really talks about this boy, this mole, this fox, and this horse, and there are all these different personalities, and you can kind of just probably see yourself and people that you know within this story. And there are so many just beautiful sort of quotes and moments in this book. So I'm actually gonna read one. I gave a talk a couple years ago on change your thoughts, change your life, and to this group, and I actually ended my talk with this quote from the page. So it says, "Do you have any other advice?" asked the boy. "Don't measure how valuable you are by the way you are treated," said the horse. "Always remember, you matter, you're important, and you are loved, and you bring to this world things that no one else can." Oh, like how beautiful is that? I actually sometimes at night will just read, and again, this is a really quick read because it's just these pictures with a couple of those lines like that. Sometimes I'll at night read this book, and there's just so many messages and things that you can pull out from this. So I wanted to end with this one because I think it's a unique one, and I hope and I desire that more people have this book in their hands. So those are some of the books that I currently love, that I have read, that I've reread, that I recommend to people, and I wanted to share those with you. So I would absolutely love for you to check out this episode. After you check out this episode, tag me on social media. Let me know, message me, send me a message and let me know what books have you read from this, which ones are new that you're going to check out. And also send me recommendations on what books that I didn't call out that I should definitely read. So I am so excited to hear and see what you are doing if you're a fellow book lover like I am. And again, reach out to me, tag in social media, and let me know what books you are reading. And I will see you again soon.